Before we start tonight's long journey, if you enjoy drifting into sleep with soft history stories, if you like calm adventures and quiet moments from our world's past, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Luci Facts. It helps more people find this calm corner of the internet. And it tells me you want more bedtime journeys like this. Now, have you ever wondered what history feels like when you're not rushing through it, not studying for school, not memorizing dates, not trapped in battles and noise, but just walking through it softly, like an evening stroll through time? Tonight, that's exactly what we are going to do. No pressure, no intensity, just a slow, gentle trip across thousands of years, through peaceful nights, warm fires, quiet libraries, and civilizations resting after long days. Let's begin. Take a breath, settle in, and let history unwind itself. The sand is cool, the moon hangs low, and somewhere beyond the dunes, an ancient river whispers the same song it has sung since the beginning of civilization. Let us follow that quiet sound toward the Nile. Tonight, the Nile moves like a long silver ribbon under the moonlight. You stand at its edge, barefoot, feeling the soft mud between your toes. The river isn't hurried. It slides gently past reeds that sway like sleepy dancers, brushing the surface with their fingertips. A warm breeze moves across the water, carrying a mix of scents: wet earth, lotus flowers, and distant smoke from evening hearths. This is Egypt long before electricity, long before noise. All you hear is water and the rhythmic creak of a wooden boat moving toward you. The boat belongs to a fisherman named Neferu, not a warrior, not a priest, just a quiet man ending his day. He ties his rope to a wooden post, wipes sweat gently from his forehead, and notices you standing nearby. He doesn't speak, but he nods as if to say, "The night is peaceful. Stay as long as you like." Neferu carefully empties his nets. Small fish shimmer like tiny stars in the moonlight. He hums softly, something like a lullaby, a melody he learned from his mother. And hearing it, the night feels even softer. Far across the river, torches flicker along the outline of a village. Clay houses sit close together, each glowing with a warm amber light. Children have already fallen asleep on woven mats. Dogs curl near open doorways. Somewhere inside one home, a pot of lentil soup cools on a stone counter, filling the air with a comforting smell. You begin walking. The sand is firm under your feet, still warm from the day's sun. In the distance, the shape of a temple rises, tall, silent, and patient. It has stood for centuries and will stand for centuries more. As you approach, you notice someone sitting on a flat stone step. There is the only person you see nearby. She's a young temple scribe named Tia. Her linen dress is simple, tied neatly at the waist. A small oil lamp flickers beside her, lighting a sheet of papyrus resting on her knees. Tia dips a thin reed pen into a pot of ink, writing slowly, carefully, almost meditatively. The brush strokes are tiny but purposeful, words honoring the goddess Ma'at, the keeper of balance and harmony. She pauses when she hears you. She smiles, not startled at all, more like she's been expecting company. Sometimes the night is clearer than the day, she says softly. Her voice is calm, steady. People think the desert sleeps after sunset, but I find it more alive than ever. She gestures for you to sit beside her. You do. The stone beneath you holds a gentle warmth, like a memory of the sun that touched it. Tia explains that scribes often work at night because the cool air keeps ink from drying too fast. But more importantly, she says, nights belong to quiet thoughts, thoughts that slip away during the noise of daylight. Her lamp sputters softly, as if agreeing. Behind you, two tall statues guard the temple entrance. Their faces are calm, carved to watch the horizon for eternity. They glow with a faint blue hue under the moon, ancient guardians lit by ancient light. Tia returns to writing. You listen to the soft scratch, scratch, scratch of her pen. It's steady, hypnotic, like a gentle rhythm designed to slow down your heartbeat. After a while, she closes her scroll. It's time for my offering. Would you like to join? You nod. Together, you walk deeper into the temple courtyard. Stone pillars tower above you, painted with symbols of gods and kings. Even in the dim moonlight, you can still see traces of reds, blues, and golds, colors that once covered every wall before centuries softened them. Tia kneels before a small altar. She places a single lotus flower, white with a hint of blue at its edges. The petals seem to glow, as if storing bits of moonlight inside them. Lotus, she whispers, a symbol of rebirth. It blooms even in muddy water. Her voice echoes lightly across the courtyard, blending with the soft rustling of palm trees outside the temple walls. You leave the temple with her, walking back toward the village. The desert air has cooled. It feels like silk against your skin. Stars canopy the whole sky, bright, uncountable, shimmering like grains of sand spilled across black velvet. Tia points upward. That one is Sopdet. You call it Sirius. When it rises in the early morning sky, the Nile begins to flood. She explains how Egyptians watch the stars closely. They guide seasons, rituals, and the rhythm of life. Time here isn't kept by clocks, but by the heavens. As you walk, a low rumble passes through the earth, deep, gentle, ancient. You realize it's a procession. Priests emerge from a nearby shrine, carrying a small wooden bark, a ceremonial boat covered in gold leaf. Inside it sits a statue of a goddess. The priests move slowly, their steps perfectly synchronized, like a heartbeat shared among them. Villagers gather along the path. Nobody rushes, nobody jostles for a better view. They simply bow their heads in quiet respect as the procession drifts by. Torches illuminate the scene in warm gold, making the figures look almost ethereal. The flames flicker and stretch in the wind, casting soft shadows that dance on the desert floor. Tia whispers. She is Mut, the mother goddess. Tonight she blesses the town. The music that follows is gentle. Flutes, low drums, the soft ring of bronze bells. It's simple, soothing, more like a cradle song than a religious ceremony. The procession passes, the music fades, and the night becomes quiet again. You continue walking until the village expands around you, rows of small homes built from mud bricks, smooth and rounded like river stones. Women sit near their doorways weaving baskets. Old men play a slow game of senet, laughing quietly. A mother rocks her baby to sleep in her arms, humming a tune passed down through generations. Everything feels unhurried, peaceful, unbroken. Tia stops in front of her home. She turns to you with a warm smile. History remembers kings, but nights like this belonged to everyone. She thanks you for keeping her company and disappears behind her doorway, closing the curtain gently. You're left alone beneath the stars. The Nile flows softly nearby, whispering ancient lullabies, and the desert, wide and timeless, exhales a cool breeze across your face. Egypt sleeps. The gods watch, and the night wraps itself around you like a calm, familiar blanket. In this moment, time is no longer something that moves. It simply rests with you. And as we leave ancient Egypt behind, let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts drift. And know that history is full of peaceful nights like this one. Quiet, warm, waiting patiently to be revisited. The wind carries the scent of pine. A lantern glows by the roadside. And somewhere in the distance, a temple bell echoes like a long, calm sigh. Let us walk deeper into the night of ancient Japan. The air tonight is cool and crisp, a gentle reminder that autumn has arrived in ancient Japan. You stand at the edge of a small village where rice fields stretch like silver blankets beneath the moonlight. Each stalk sways softly, as if bowing politely with every passing breeze. A narrow dirt path leads you forward, lit by occasional lanterns hanging from wooden posts. Their glow is warm, golden, and steady, like tiny suns guiding you through the darkness. You walk slowly, your sandals pressing lightly into the ground. To your left, frogs croak lazily from shallow water. To your right, crickets perform their nightly symphony. Nature is not loud. It is simply alive, humming gently all around you. Ahead, you see the silhouette of a small wooden bridge arching over a quiet stream. A young woman in a simple kimono stands there, gazing at her reflection in the water. Her name is Aoi. She is a craftswoman, known in the village for making delicate paper lanterns. Tonight, she is releasing one into the stream, a private tradition she performs at the end of every harvest season. She notices your presence, but she does not startle. Instead, she smiles softly and gestures for you to join her. Aoi kneels at the edge of the bridge.
She lights a small candle inside her handcrafted lantern, made of rice paper stretched over a bamboo frame. The lantern glows, warm and tender, illuminating her face in gentle hues of amber and rose. "This light," she whispers, "is for gratitude." She lowers the lantern to the surface of the water. It floats, drifting slowly downstream like a bright seed following the river's pulse. You watch it move away, a tiny golden star on a dark ribbon of water, until it becomes just another soft glow in the night. Aoi straightens and begins walking back toward the village. You follow her, your steps quiet beside hers. As you walk, she tells you about her craft, how she cuts the paper with careful fingers, how she bends the bamboo so gently it never breaks, how each lantern she creates is meant not just for light, but for emotion. Lanterns, she says softly, carry prayers. You feel the truth in her words. The village appears ahead of you now. Small wooden houses with thatched roofs, arranged neatly like they've grown from the earth itself. Paper windows glow faintly, revealing silhouettes of families preparing to sleep. The smell of warm miso broth drifts through the air, comforting and familiar. Near the center of the village, an elderly man sits outside his home, carving a piece of wood. His name is Kenji, a retired samurai who has traded his sword for a carving knife. Beside him lies a wooden statue of Jizo, the protector of travelers. Half finished, but already serene. Kenji greets you with a nod. He motions toward an empty seat beside him. You sit on the wooden step, feeling its texture. Smooth in some places, rough in others, marked by years of weather and use. Kenji resumes carving. The sound is gentle. A soft scrape, scrape. Steady, unhurried. After a while, he speaks, his voice deep and calm. People think samurai were always fighting, but nights were often quiet like this. A warrior's life wasn't only battle. It was waiting, watching, breathing, learning to be still. He pauses to dust away wood shavings, letting them fall like tiny petals. Peace, he adds, must be carved every day, just like this. He offers a small smile and returns to his work. You thank him for the moment, stand, and continue your walk deeper into the village. Past Kenji's home, you find a narrow path leading uphill toward a Shinto shrine. Stone lanterns line the way, their light soft and steady. The night breeze carries a faint scent of cedar and incense. At the entrance, a torii gate stands tall, its silhouette bold against the moonlight sky. You walk beneath it, feeling an almost imperceptible shift, as if stepping from the everyday world into a place just slightly more sacred.
A shrine maiden named Sayuri is sweeping fallen leaves from the pathway. Her movements are slow, graceful, each sweep following the rhythm of the rustling wind. She finishes her task and turns to you with a peaceful expression. "Welcome," she says softly. "It's late, but the shrine is always awake. Sayuri leads you toward a small pavilion where a sacred bell hangs. Its rope is thick, woven from rice straw. She invites you to ring it. You pull the rope gently. The bell releases a deep, resonant gong, a sound that vibrates through your chest, echoes across the shrine, then dissolves into the night like a long exhale. Sayuri closes her eyes, listening. That sound, she says, carries prayers upward. You sit on the wooden veranda with her. The planks beneath you are cool, smooth, and firm. A koi pond glimmers nearby, the water still except for the occasional ripple from a curious fish. Sayuri tells you about shrine nights, how monks meditate in near darkness, how the wind slips through the bamboo like whispered messages, how foxes sometimes wander through the courtyard, silent and silver in the moonlight. You stay with her for a long while, listening. Then, as the moon climbs higher, you rise and descend the hill. The village feels even quieter now. Only a few lanterns remain lit. Most homes have drawn their screens, and the only sound comes from wind brushing softly against the rooftops. You walk to the edge of the village where a tea house sits beside a grove of tall bamboo. The bamboo stalks sway gently, making soft clacks that echo like wood tapping wood underwater. Inside the tea house, a tea master named Haru prepares for his final cup of the night. He pours water with slow, precise movements. Steam rises, curling like tiny ghosts into the air. He gestures for you to sit. You accept. Haru lifts a ladle, pours hot water into a simple ceramic bowl, and stirs powdered green tea with a bamboo whisk. The movement is rhythmic, circular, unbroken. When he finishes, he pushes the bowl toward you. His expression is gentle, almost fatherly. Tea, he says softly, is the quiet between thoughts. You raise the bowl, sip slowly. The flavor is warm, earthy, grounding. It settles into you like a calm wind settling into a valley. For a few minutes, neither of you speaks. There is no need. When you finish, Haru bows deeply. You bow back. Outside, the bamboo sways heavier now. Clouds drift across the moon, and the village seems to hum with the low, sleepy breaths of a place ready for rest. As you return to the bridge where the night began, you look for Aoi's lantern. And there it is. Far downstream, a faint golden dot floating toward the horizon. Its light may be small, but it is steady. And so is the peace you feel. Ancient Japan settles around you, a world of gentle rituals, soft voices, and nights shaped by the rhythm of nature. Here, time does not chase you. It walks beside you, calmly, patiently, silently. As we leave ancient Japan behind, let your body ease into stillness. Let your thoughts float like lanterns on quiet water. A paper lantern sways overhead. The smell of jasmine tea drifts through the air. Somewhere far away, a guchin string vibrates softly, like a single drop of sound falling into a still pond. Let's follow that sound into ancient China. Tonight, the sky above ancient China looks like a scroll painted with silver, A broad canvas of stars stretching endlessly from mountain peak to riverbank. You stand at the edge of a quiet village in the late Han Dynasty. The day's warmth lingers in the air, but the breeze carries the first hint of evening coolness. Paper lanterns glow softly along the dirt road, casting warm circles of light on the ground. Each lantern is hand-painted with delicate strokes. Lotus flowers, carp swimming upstream, or poetry written in flowing characters. As you walk, the ground crunches lightly beneath your sandals. To your left, farmers finish tying bundles of harvested millet. To your right, children chase fireflies with wide sleeves and even wider smiles. But soon, laughter fades. The night deepens, and the world becomes quieter with each step. Ahead, you see an elderly man sitting under a pagoda, a small wooden pavilion near a pond filled with lotus leaves. His name is Master Ren, a philosopher who once taught in the capital. Now he spends his evenings watching the moon reflect on water, as if reading a book only he can see. He greets you with a slow bow. His long white beard sways gently in the breeze. "You walk like someone seeking stillness," he says softly. "Sit. Tonight, the pond is a better teacher than I am." You sit beside him. Cicadas hum their steady chorus in the trees. The lotus pond lies still, except for the occasional ripple from a koi rising to the surface. Master Ren dips his finger into the water, tracing a small circle. The ripples widen, merging, smoothing, disappearing. "Life," he murmurs, "is nothing but circles. What comes, goes, and what goes, returns." He smiles faintly at the moon's reflection, as if sharing a private joke. Nearby, the gentle strum of a guqin floats through the air. Its sound is soft, delicate, like silk sliding through hands. Master Ren gestures toward the source. He says, "You should hear that up close. Follow the music. She only plays at night." You thank him and continue your walk. The melody leads you along a stone pathway lined with bamboo stalks. They rise tall and slender, swaying quietly, brushing against one another in soft wooden sighs. The path opens into a courtyard. A young woman sits on a raised wooden platform, her guqin resting across her lap. Her name is Leon. Her hair is tied back with a simple ribbon, and her robe is faded at the edges, showing she is a musician of humble life, not noble birth. But her music is fit for palaces. Her fingers glide across the strings. Each note is a drop of moonlight. Each pause is a breath of the night itself. She notices you, but does not stop playing. Instead, she shifts the melody from melancholy to warm welcome. Leon finally rests her hands and speaks. "My father taught me to play," she says softly. "He said music is the bridge between the world we walk and the world we dream." She invites you to sit. The wood beneath you is smooth from years of use. The lantern beside her flickers, painting gentle shadows across the courtyard. Leon begins to play again, a slower, deeper tune. The notes rise, drift, and fall like petals carried on wind. You feel tension melt from your shoulders. Your thoughts slow. the world becomes simple. Just strings, wind, and moon. After the song ends, she bows her head in thanks. You bow back. Leaving the courtyard, you notice a distant glow, a larger, steadier light coming from the direction of the river. You walk toward it. There, on the river bank, a poet sits with an ink brush, a flat stone, and a long scroll spread across his lap. His name is Wenji. His robe is messy, his hair tangled, and there is ink smudged on his cheek. But his eyes, they shine with clarity, like someone who sees more than he says. He dips his brush into the inkstone and writes slowly. Each stroke is deliberate, like carving thoughts into the world. He doesn't look up. He says quietly, "Most poetry is written for the day, but the best lines, the ones that live forever, come from the night." He gestures at the river, wide, dark, smooth as polished jade. He reads aloud. The river mirrors the moon, yet the moon does not tremble. Only we do. His voice fades into the night. The river keeps flowing. You continue your journey. Past the poet's spot, a row of wooden houses lines the river. Silk dries on bamboo poles. Windows glow softly behind lattice screens. From one home, the warm scent of ginger broth drifts outward. From another, the faint sound of laughter. From another still, the slow beating of a loom. A mother finishing a final cloth before sleep. The night is alive, but never loud. You reach a wooden bridge arching over the water. A lantern hangs from its center, its orange glow reflecting on the river like a floating sun. A young scholar stands leaning against the railing, his scrolls tucked beneath one arm. His name is Ji Hao. He is preparing for the imperial examinations, a path many attempt, few reach, and fewer still succeed. He does not seem anxious. Instead, he breathes slowly, calmly. The mind learns best at night. The day is filled with voices, but the night, he gestures at the river. The night listens. He opens one of his scrolls and shows you a passage from Confucius. To be still is to understand. To understand is to be at peace. Ji Hao closes the scroll with care. He says with a soft laugh, "You don't have to be a scholar to understand that." You thank him and leave the bridge, walking deeper into the night. The final place you reach is a small Taoist temple nestled between cypress trees. A monk stands outside, lighting incense. The smoke curls upward, thin, twisting, fading into the sky. He bows silently. You bow in return. Inside the temple, candles flicker along stone statues. A small fountain trickles water into a basin, steady and soothing. The monk finally speaks. In Taoism, the night is a teacher. It shows us how to accept softness, how to let go of the day, and how to move like water, quiet, patient, unforced. He hands you a small incense stick for calm dreams. You light it and place it in the holder. The fragrance, light, earthy, ancient, fills the room. And for a moment, the entire world feels still. Ancient China surrounds you. Wise, peaceful, gently breathing. A civilization built on balance, ritual, and the quiet strength of night. You step back outside. The stars are brighter now. The air colder. The river calmer. And as you take one last breath of the night, you understand why so many poets, monks, musicians, and scholars found inspiration only after sundown. In the night of ancient China, the world is not silent. It is simply listening. As we leave ancient China behind, let your mind rest like still water. Let your breathing slow, as soft as lantern light on a river.
Have you ever wondered what Rome sounded like after the cheering crowds went home? Not the roaring arenas, not the marching legions, but the Rome that existed in the quiet hours when the empire finally exhaled and revealed its softer heartbeat. Tonight, we step into that Rome, the Rome hidden between shadows and torchlight, a world of warm bathhouses, marble courtyards, and slow, starlit conversations. The sun has just fallen behind the 7 hills, leaving a soft golden glow over the rooftops. The day's heat slips from the stone streets, and Rome, usually loud, bright, and busy, begins to settle into its nighttime rhythm. A warm breeze passes through narrow alleyways lined with clay lamps. Merchants close their stalls, children hurry home, and somewhere in the distance, a musician plucks a lyre, the soft notes dancing between the buildings. This is where our journey begins. The Roman Forum during the day is a storm. Shouting senators, rushing messengers, traders bargaining over olives and silk. But now it feels like a temple of echoes. You walk past marble columns that still hold the warmth of the sun. Torches flicker at their bases, casting long shadows across ancient inscriptions. A pair of senators, robes flowing behind them, finish a quiet debate about land and taxes. Their voices gentle, almost drowsy. Not passionate, not fiery, just tired men ending a long day in the center of the world. You hear the distant splash of someone filling a jug at a fountain. The water glows under moonlight. Rome, the empire of noise, has become soft, almost fragile. As the sky deepens into navy blue, you follow a stone path toward the famed Baths of Caracalla, one of Rome's wonders. From the outside, you see warm vapor rise like breath from a giant. Inside, the bathhouse is calm. Torches burn low, and only a handful of people remain. The floors are heated beneath your feet, a marvel of Roman engineering, the hypocaust system whispering warmth upward. A few men recline in the caldarium, the hot room, their voices soft, like they're afraid to disturb the steam. A traveler from Africa tells a story about desert nights where the sand glows silver. Another man, a poet, recites a few lines about the moon's reflection on the Tiber. You sink into the warm water, listening as the room hums around you, the dripping of condensation, the hush of rising steam, the slow, rhythmic breathing of people finally relaxing. This was Rome's refuge, its therapy, its nightly sanctuary. No politics, no business, just warmth, just peace. After the baths, you step into the cool night air, your skin still warm. The streets quiet down even more now. Lanterns sway gently in the breeze outside small taverns, popine, where late-night meals are served. You find a seat at a stone counter, lit by a single oil lamp. The owner, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and flour-dusted hands, brings out a simple meal: warm bread, honeyed figs, and a small clay cup of watered wine. Around you, two stonemasons share a quiet laugh about work they'll finish tomorrow. A boy helps his father clean tables. A stray cat settles beside your feet, purring softly. There's nothing grand here, nothing imperial, just the gentle heartbeat of ordinary Roman life. It's strangely comforting to realize that even in the greatest empire on earth, people still end their days with simple food and soft conversations.
Your steps lead you next to the Tiber River. By day, it's crowded with fishermen and ferries, but tonight, only a few lanterns glow along the water's edge. A lone watchman stands on a wooden platform, leaning on his spear, gazing at the river like he's trying to read it. "Quiet night," he murmurs as you approach. He isn't suspicious, he's simply bored, or maybe just peaceful. The moon reflects on the water in long, trembling lines. A cool breeze carries the smell of wet stone and distant jasmine. The watchman tells you about his life, how he works for a small wage, how he dreams of visiting Hispania, how Rome feels different at night, gentler, less proud. He says that sometimes, if the night is calm enough, you can hear the city breathe. Tonight feels like one of those nights. You continue your walk, feet carrying you upward toward the Aventine Hill, one of Rome's quietest districts, home to gardens, temples, and wealthy families seeking peace. The climb is long but soothing. The city lights shrink below you like a scattered constellation. On the hill's crest, you find a small bench beneath a cypress tree. From here, you can see the rooftops of Rome stretching far and wide, their curves and shadows softened by moonlight. A gentle wind rustles the leaves. In the distance, you hear faint music from a private gathering, a flute, a lyre, a calm melody floating through the air. The city feels ancient, eternal, but also incredibly human. You sit there for a long moment, just listening to the silence of a world that once ruled continents.
Down the hill, you wander into a neighborhood where wealthy homes, domus, stand behind marble walls. A servant, carrying a lantern, ushers you inside one, inviting you to observe a typical Roman evening routine. Inside, the house is peaceful. In the atrium, rainwater collected in the central pool reflects the lantern's flickering light. A mother reads a story to her children about Hercules and the golden apples. The children listen, eyes heavy with sleep. In the triclinium, the dining room, the father reviews wax tablets with tomorrow's tasks, scratching notes softly with a stylus. Every room has its own rhythm, its own hush. Rome feels enormous on the outside, but inside its homes, it's intimate, warm, human. As midnight approaches, you return to the forum. The streets are mostly empty now, but Rome never sleeps completely. A candle burns in a scribe's window as he copies a document. A baker begins kneading dough for tomorrow's bread. A pair of guards patrol slowly, their sandals tapping lightly against a stone. And somewhere, far beyond the buildings, a nightbird calls out across the dark sky. Rome is quiet, but alive. Always alive. You take one last look at the temples, the arches, the roads leading outward into the empire. And as the breeze brushes past you, you feel connected to every soul who once walked these streets thousands of years ago. People who lived, worked, rested, dreamed, just like you.
Have you ever wondered what ancient Greece felt like? Not during heroic battles or loud debates, but in the quiet hours, when the philosophers went home, the torches dimmed, and the birthplace of Western civilization finally settled into a gentle moonlit calm. Tonight, we slip into that Greece, not the Greece of grand myths, but the Greece that breathed softly beneath the stars. The sun dips behind the Aegean horizon, painting the sky in soft purples and fading gold. Stone houses cast long shadows across narrow streets, and the warm breeze smells faintly of olive trees and distant sea salt. Ancient Greece, so alive by day, begins to unwind. The merchants pack away their pottery. Fishermen drag nets from the shore. And children, barefoot and laughing, run home as the first evening lamps are lit. The city-state of Athens, so known for its debates and drama, begins to hum with a quieter rhythm. This is where our story begins. During the day, the agora, the heart of Athenian life, buzzes with voices, philosophers arguing over truth, vendors selling figs and wine, travelers offering stories from distant islands. But at dusk, the agora becomes a painting. Marble columns glow warm from the day's sunlight, still clinging to them. A few people stroll lazily between stalls, their sandals brushing the dust. A potter extinguishes his lamp, stacking his last clay vessel with care. An old man sits on a low wall, feeding crumbs to pigeons as he watches the sky turn darker shades of blue. You walk past a small shrine to Hermes, where someone has left fresh flowers. They carry a scent of sweetness in the cooling air. The noise is gone. Only the soft murmur of the city remains, steady, gentle, calming. Not far from the agora lies a small walled garden, the home of a modest philosopher
who prefers quiet reflection to the competitive debates of the academy. Tonight, he sits beneath an olive tree, scrolls stacked beside him, the lantern at his feet glowing faintly. He waves you in softly. No lectures tonight. No crowds gathering to challenge or praise. Just thoughtful silence. He speaks not as a teacher, but as someone winding down from a long day. How odd, he says quietly, that wisdom grows not in noise, but in the moments when the world grows still. He tells you how he believes that truth isn't shouted, it's whispered in the spaces between thoughts. As he talks, cicadas begin their evening chorus, their rhythmic sounds blending with the rustle of olive branches in the wind. The night deepens, the stars brighten. You thank him, and he nods as if he knew you needed the peace. Your path leads you next through a small residential street where families are finishing their supper. An old woman, her hair tied with a cloth, invites you to join a modest meal, a gesture common in Greek hospitality. You sit on a wooden stool as she ladles warm lentil soup into a bowl, placing bread, olives, and a drizzle of fresh olive oil beside it. Her grandchildren whisper and laugh in the corner of the room, drawing shapes in the dust with sticks. A man returns from the fields, setting his tools against the doorway before joining the quiet meal. The house glows with the softest amber light from a pair of oil lamps. Nothing hurried, nothing modern, just the gentle routine of an ancient family ending their day.
They ask where you're from. You answer vaguely, and they smile, as if travelers from strange places are simply part of life's mystery. The room feels warm, safe, timeless. Later, you step outside and walk toward the sea. The Aegean at night is a mirror of stars, black water sprinkled with silver reflections. A group of fishermen sit on the beach repairing nets, their lanterns glowing like fireflies. One of them hums softly, an old melody passed down from father to son. The tune floats over the waves like a lullaby. Farther offshore, you see a small boat gently rocking. Two fishermen waiting patiently for their night catch. Their oars dip silently into the dark water. A breeze brushes past your face, carrying the scent of time from nearby hills. The sea whispers. The shore listens. And you simply breathe. In a nearby village, the central square becomes alive again, but gently, peacefully. A small group gathers around a low fire. Old men tell stories of heroes and monsters, of gods walking among mortals, of constellations shaped by ancient myths. A young girl points upward to the bright belt of Orion, asking which god placed it there. An elder smiles and begins to explain how the Greeks saw the sky as a grand tapestry, woven with lessons and warnings. You lie back in the grass, looking up. The stars feel brighter than the ones you know. Zeus's eagle, Athena's owl, the great ship Argo drifting across the heavens. It's as if every star has something to say, if only you stare long enough. The fire crackles softly. A gentle warmth radiates from it. Time slows, maybe even stops.
Your final steps take you uphill to the sacred height where the Parthenon stands. At night, the Acropolis is breathtaking. The white marble glows faintly, almost silver in the moonlight. The columns rise like ancient sentinels, quiet yet powerful. You walk carefully across the stones, feeling the coolness beneath your feet. The city spreads out below you, a constellation of tiny lamps. The wind up here is soft and carries the faint smell of mountain herbs. A priestess walks silently through the temple grounds, placing small offerings at the feet of Athena's statue. She whispers a prayer, not for war, or victory, or politics, but for peace, for wisdom, for the simple blessing of a safe tomorrow. You stand there a long time, listening to the ancient hush of a world that shaped our own. The columns creak softly as the night breeze passes through them. The stars watch over everything just as they did thousands of years ago. Ancient Greece feels alive, but serene. Grand, but intimate. Powerful, yet deeply human. Thank you for wandering through ancient Greece tonight. In the quiet moments, the gardens, the sea, the fire-lit stories, we rediscovered a world that changed history, not only through brilliance, but through the peaceful rhythms of everyday life. If this video helped you relax, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Luci Facts so we can explore more dreamlike corners of the past together. For now, rest well, and may your night be as calm as the starlit shores of the Aegean. Good night.